Here we go. We are recording. Good morning from both of us.
Good morning.
We're not in the same place because it's Friday, which is our day off. So, Adam, you look like you have some plans. Is that a golf shirt you're wearing there?
I am going golfing as soon as
Good.
we're done.
Cool. And we're hoping to pick up some pool passes, perhaps. I don't know. Dottie hasn't woken up yet. We'll see.
Uh-huh.
We're here on a Friday morning recording this together on Zoom because we think this issue is important enough to hear from both of us together, and our timeline for sharing this with you is what it is because we've been working on this with the staff and with church council for the last couple of days. We've brought to you a statement from both of us about a lot of current events surrounding the issue of race. And we brought a draft on Wednesday to our staff meeting and invited the staff to kind of speak into it and share their thoughts and their concerns and help us clarify language. And they did a great deal to really help shape the statement that went from staff to church council meeting. When we had our June meeting last night, we again brought this to church council and refined it and finessed it and worked on language and clarification. We had some really good discussions with staff and with church council members around these issues. So this is not just something Adam and I are giving to you. This is really something that comes also with the support of staff and with the support of our church council leadership. So we had a really good discussion, and we invite continued discussion and dialogue around this issue in our church. If you have questions or concerns, or you need us to help clarify some issues or language in this statement, we are also sending a statement from our bishop. And if you need some feedback from us or want to discuss that, we invite you to do that as well. I've had some really good conversations, just beautiful conversations with a few of you already in this last week around the issue of race and racism. And I really appreciate the way that some of you have pushed me to learn and grow and dig in and do some reading. And I pray that we'll continue to do that. I've ordered several books on Amazon, and if you want to share some of those books, I'm hoping to watch some documentaries on Netflix. There's a lot of great resources out there. Adam has shared those a couple of times via email in the last few weeks. Check your email for those. Or if you just want to engage us in discussion around the issue, we hope that you will do that. And Pastor Adam has laid some really good foundations around this issue of race with his book studies, Waking Up White and Jesus Land. And we hope that we'll continue to build on that foundation and maybe do some more book studies this summer. And there's other book studies happening in our community and other events around the issue of race and racism. And we hope that we will learn and grow around this issue so that we can move to action and be participating in ministry around racism and ending racism and be part of our community as they do that. So Adam is going to read the first part, and then I will read some, and Adam will read the rest of it and kind of close us out. And we'll also, like I said, include the bishop's statement as well. And there's a place you can sign that if you would like to do so. So Adam, if you would share with us.
So like Kelly said, this is a statement that is a collective effort, and we are offering it to you, one, because we, as your pastors, as Christians, believe that we could not remain silent on this. And we just wanted to offer our bishop's statement and these resources for you as you begin your conversations at home. So, dear congregation, we, your pastors, believe that all human persons, regardless of race, creed, nation, or language, is created in the image of the living God, Genesis 1:27. And that is why we lament and abhor the unjust and horrifying killings of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd, and all of the resulting violence. These killings were senseless, brutal, and sins that cry out to heaven for justice. And we implore the words of the prophet Micah that we commit as a community to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with our God. We join Bishop Hope Morgan Ward and the cabinet in their summons to witness, protest, and promise. And we invite you also to read and sign this summons as well if you have not done so already. and we include the link.
Mhm. And we know that the killing of George Floyd at the hands of the police certainly do not reflect the majority of men and women who serve in law enforcement and who carry out their duties with honor and integrity every day. And we appreciate the hard work that they do, keeping their communities safe. At the same time, we also support the peaceful protests and believe that the protests that we're seeing across the country reflect a justified and righteous anger. And it will take time to untangle these webs of racism that stretch in and throughout the fabric of our society, our criminal justice system, and even in religious institutions. However, let us not delay in beginning this important work together.
To begin that work, we first invite you to read the bishop and cabinet's summons and covenant with us in those commitments. Secondly, we invite you to begin having conversations at home with your spouse, children, extended family, friends about race and racism in this country. To help aid in those conversations, we've offered a Google document that has some anti-racism resources, link included. We realize the sheer volume of resources can feel overwhelming. And so we encourage you to pick one or two to begin with. Read a book, a few articles, a podcast, a movie, documentary, join a group, social justice group on Facebook, and pay attention to the discussions that unfold there. And then we ask you to begin having those difficult but very necessary conversations about the long history of race and racism in this country in the spirit in which Christ calls us, which is this: I give you a new commandment, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also should love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. Your brother and sister in Christ, Pastors Adam and Kelly. And so we just offer these resources to you in a time in which we already know is hard. We know that this time was already hard. But these are conversations that are difficult but necessary. Conversations that we need to be having at home. And we invite you that as you begin those conversations to listen to one another with ears of grace, because these are very sensitive topics. The material, the kinds of things you'll be talking about are very sensitive in nature, and we're all in different places at this. So as we begin those conversations, I invite you to listen to one another and begin that difficult work, but listen with ears of grace as we work together step by step. We're not going to conquer racism in a day. We're not going to get to Martin Luther King's dream in a day. It will just be slow, steady work that we can do together to listen to one another, to listen to our brothers and sisters in Christ, to listen to the cries for African American brothers and sisters and learn where they are coming from, and to listen to each other in love.
So our hope and our prayer is that these discussions will continue in our congregation, that we will continue to learn, to read, to watch, just to really embrace resources, especially from Black voices, that will really help us understand the experience of our African American brothers and sisters that is so different from our own. And that as we learn, we can continue to put what we're learning into practice as we move toward justice and equality for all of God's children, who are all created in the image of God. So,
And as you all begin this difficult individual work in your own lives together, we'll also be discussing and discerning ways that our congregation, this congregation, can do things as a group, as a collective, and we'll begin those conversations, and more on that to come.
everyone have a good Friday, a good weekend, and we will see you for worship on Sunday on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah. Y'all have a good weekend. Peace be with you.
Yes, peace.